Well, certainly quite a very invigorating seminar here, looking at the context where we're seeing myriad of conflicts all over the world, but also the focal point about non-proliferation of nuclear. We know that it is quite a very topical issue, especially in the context of what you have recently seen in the Middle East. Joining us now is Minister Boytes from DIRCO. Deputy Minister, thank you so much and welcome to SABC. Maybe just first and foremost, Deputy Minister, let's look at the importance of this seminar. Obviously, we know South Africa in the early 90s. We saw you dismantling, your capabilities. What can other countries learn from the South African experience?
Well, I think let's first appreciate the foresight of UNISA for co-hosting this very important seminar on the occasion of exactly 80 years since the first atomic nuclear bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. So today it's really to honor and to remember and to make a renewed commitment that never again should nuclear be used for maiming and for killing humankind. Nuclear should be essentially, Kaya, for development purposes. So the Pelindaba Treaty follows our voluntary decision as South Africa to forego of our nuclear arsenal. And the Pelindaba Treaty is the sum cumulative total of the aspirations of the African continent, commonly known as the Common Africa Position, where Africa have been unequivocal that nuclear should be for development and peaceful purposes. So that is an important aspect which all member states of the United Nations should obviously take note of.
Deputy Minister, another pertinent issue will be around the reforms of the UNSC. We know for South Africa, it's been really just quite a number of years where you have been talking about this issue. You look at Ezulini consensus, among other just aspirations that you have. What can be done really, especially in the context of 80 years of the UN?
Yes, look, I think you raise a multiplicity of issues. When we discuss the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, it obviously straddles along three fundamental pillars. It looks at the prohibition of nuclear weapons. It looks at the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, and more importantly, it looks at the essential importance of nuclear for development purposes. It uniquely places particular responsibility for members, in particular of the P5 of the UNSC. You would recall that all of those were regarded as the countries that has been authorized as nuclear weapon states. Where it essentially put, the obligation on them to not play any role in terms of the further proliferation of weapons, of nuclear weapons into the hands of non-nuclear weapon states. And that is a key and critical issue. It also obligates them to do voluntary disclosure in relation to their existing nuclear arsenal. Juxtapose that, Kaya, would what is the obligations of non-nuclear weapon states? It requires them to, it actually obligates them in a compulsory manner to declare, its nuclear capability. That includes obviously its nuclear program, be it as it may, even for nuclear scientific and development purposes. So there is obviously what I call common but differentiated responsibility, where we do not want to see, extension of nuclear arsenals to non-nuclear weapon states. For example, the state of Israel have maintained strategic ambiguity in relation to its own nuclear program. So we are obviously concerned that somehow they have been able to, through partnership with a nuclear weapon state, has developed and accrued the capacity to develop nuclear weapons. And we obviously want to call on this day, when we remember the hideous crime that has been committed when the first atomic bomb has been unleashed against humankind, that it should never ever be repeated.